to a lot of you because I've worked with you throughout my legislative career, 8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate. And people ask the question, well, why do you want to run as Secretary of State? And the answer is pretty clear to me. Number one, and I genuinely mean this, I'm just running to find out if it's God's will that I'm supposed to move on and continue to serve the public. You don't know these things unless you put yourself out there. And so I'm just running not primarily to find out, is this God's will that I should continue to serve in an elected position to be able to serve the public as I've done the last 16 years. The other reason is because I've got 16 years of experience that I really don't want to put up on the shelf. Some of that 16 years has had great success, some has had great failures, and all of it can be beneficial to continue to serve in the future. And so I'd like to take my 16 years and continue to serve Secretary of State's level. As you know, I've worked with many of you throughout the legislative career. I think one of the key things that you need to have in a relationship with the Secretary of State is a working relationship where we work with you, not against you. We work together and not against each other. And that means that we come together, have the kind of meetings and discussions that before legislation is introduced, that we can at least get on the same page. And if we can't, we can at least be civil about it so that whatever our disagreements may be can be done in a healthy debate and a healthy process. So, I look forward to working with you if I'm elected as your next Secretary of State. One of the things I want to make sure too is that you get all the support you need out of the Secretary of State's office, whether that's revamping the website in order to make it more user-friendly, maybe having some interaction with our legal team when you have questions. Not that we go to court for you, but we certainly can be an ally for you because what affects you affects us. And so I think that we have to have that interaction between the clerks and between the Secretary of State's office, because at the end of the day, if the voters win, we all win. And let each party and let each individual get out there and advocate for what they believe is strong. Our job is just to make sure that the elections are fair and that we keep our #1 status in the nation as the most secure state in the nation to conduct elections. So I appreciate it, look forward to answering the questions and a few closing comments at the end. Thank you.
Next up for opening statements, Dr. Michael Packo.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. I appreciate the invitation that the three of us got to join you at this beautiful venue here. I'm looking forward to afterwards going out and taking in some of the sights and attractions. But in the meanwhile, my name is Michael Packo, and I'm the Libertarian candidate for Secretary of State. Now, some of you may know me as the Arkansas economist, quoted in the newspaper, appearing on TV and radio, explaining what the latest economic statistics mean for Arkansas and the Arkansas economy. But I also have a side gig. For the past decade or so, I've been the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Arkansas. And from that perspective, I bring kind of an outsider's point of view to politics in Arkansas. From my point of view, it looks to me like there could be a lot more competition in our politics, not just between Republicans and Democrats, but within the Democratic Party, within the Republican Party, and with third parties and independents as well. In this very hyper-partisan environment where the two parties of the duopoly accuse each other of disenfranchising voters and defrauding the system. I think that it's really important that Arkansas have a Secretary of State who can stand above the partisan bickering and stand for the people of Arkansas and support the county clerks, for that matter, in the execution and the implementation of our elections. So that's kind of the angle that I bring onto it. And if you're going to kind of summarize my campaign bumper sticker type slogan, it's simply that elections are too important to leave to the Democrats and Republicans. Now, I do have more that I want to talk to about some specific reforms to our electoral process that I think would improve the competitive environment, would improve competition. And I think this audience would be a great sounding board for some of these ideas, but I don't want to take up all your time here in my opening statements. I hope we'll have a chance to talk about some of those suggestions later on. But for now, I guess that's who I am. I'm glad to be here, and look forward to taking all the questions that were coming up. Thanks.
And last but not least, Kelly Graff.
Thank you all for having us today. I am really honored to be in this room with you, and I'm honored to be on this stage with Dr. Packo and Senator Hammer. We just had a quick conversation that I just want to tell y'all I'm excited about running against these two because we made a commitment to each other that we're going to do this the right way, and so I'm thankful for that. So I'm running for Secretary of State. If I have to summarize the reason I'm running for Secretary of State in one word, it's people. Because I do love this state and I believe in the people of Arkansas. And I believe that the county clerks are a big part of why people trust our government. So your role is so critical. And my mission in this job is going to be as a service role. I'm listening. I picked up so many questions and even ideas this morning just based on some of the challenges that y'all have out there. And so my number one goal is to make sure, first of all, that our elections maintain their, their security and their integrity just like they are today, but also to really listen and understand what we could do differently or better to support you, get barriers out of your way, make things more efficient, because I just think there's some opportunity. I come from a background more than 30 years in the business sector. I'm not a lifetime politician. I led a team of 800 people. I ran a big building in Little Rock with the Verizon headquarters. And I just believe that this role is an administrator. It's a constitutional officer. And I have background and experience that I believe will help me make sure that you've got the support that you need in the Secretary of State's office. So my commitment to you is to listen and to really understand where your barriers are and to make sure that people feel confident in the system so that they come and plug in. I'm on a personal mission to get more people to the table when it comes to politics and to take some of the heat out of the Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever you are, because at the end of the day, we're all Arkansans, and we have to come back to each other, and we have to be able to talk to each other and work together to move this state forward. And so I have a vision for that, and I have so many great ideas I can't wait to share with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you all. We'll begin with the questions. We will change up the order of response for each question, and you'll have 90 seconds to respond. First, for this question is Kim Hammer. County clerks, election staff, and poll workers face increasing pressure, criticism, and negativity during elections. This leads to burnout and resignation of seasoned election officials. As Secretary of State, what steps would you take to support and retain election workers across Arkansas?
Thank you for the question. That's a realistic question because it's a real issue that's out there. I'll tell you a quick story I heard from one county, and you may be in the room, so I hope I restated accurately, but one of their poll workers who was 93 said, I just got to give it up, or it was election coordinator said, I just got to give it up, and was replaced with a 94-year-old. So that kind of indicates to you the problems that we're having. So my intent is, number one, I really think the Secretary of State needs to be out in the state and needs to be out in the office and traveling in the counties, working directly with the clerks and the other county officials as well, but y'all primarily because you oversee the elections. But also I think the Secretary of State needs to be in the schools. And just to be honest with you, we got an upper layer that are very engaged. We got a middle layer of population that's kind of sorta, if it's convenient, engaged. And what we really need to do is be out there and work, starting with the elementary and going up through the high school and the college, and start to create a generation that's going to come up and understand the value of being involved in the process and being out there to help. We have now a law that says you got to have 75 hours of community service in the high school before you can graduate. We need to make a direct connection between them and working at the polls and instill in them the understanding of the value of getting out and vote. The one thing I think...
Time. Sorry, I am going to call you out so we can stay on schedule.
Perfect.
Next, Dr. Packo, and if anyone needs me to repeat the question, feel free to ask.
Well, I think I hinted at the outset at the view that the partisan bickering has really has caused a conflict that really has weaponized some of our key institutions, including elections, calling into question the integrity of the elections themselves and the officials that run the elections, including all of you and the Secretary of State as well. And so I think it's important that we try to reinstill the confidence that the people of Arkansas should have in our process, that we have fair, free elections, they're well maintained, well monitored, and you know, to some extent, if there's bad information out there about how crooked elections are, the best way to combat that is with more good information. So I would like to see an initiative statewide among all the county clerks, election coordinators, the election commission members, and the Secretary of State's office to maybe make more out of the process of we're testing the voting machines and reassuring the voters that everything's up on the up and up. Make it a big event rather than what I suspect it often is just a couple of Republicans or Democrats showing up to the testing process. So I think putting out a strong message to the public about the integrity of the elections from a common perspective would be a good approach.
Thank you. Kelly Graff.
I think there's three key things here. Number one is around civic education, which Senator Hammer alluded to. And my husband and I do a civic education program for high school students. And one of the things that I've really learned through that process is that young people want to plug in, but they might not want to come to a Democratic committee meeting or Republican committee meeting. They want to use their own God-given talents to plug into the system. And so I'm running my campaign with that philosophy. I've got a mural artist that I'm working with. I have a guy who wrote a song a couple of weeks ago, and I think we've got to find ways to help our youth plug in where they are. So that's the first thing, and we want to teach them how to plug into the system so that they can use their power and their voice. Our population, we now have more voting age people under 50 than we do over 50. And y'all know who votes, right? Y'all know who votes. We have more people over 50, and so I'm trying to show them their power. The second thing that I think is really important is giving people something to come out for and not just against. There's so much polarization, and my whole campaign theme is people over politics. I want to help communities understand how they use our civic power to change things if they want to change things. And so that's really a critical